Two.
We have some amaranth here, and this is a flower that grows wild here. And actually, it's not really a flower, but it's a weed. And that's the seed head, and the seed head looks almost like a flower, but technically not a flower. But you can eat the seeds. They have some protein in them. Very nutritious leaves. Stem can be a little bit tough and fibrous.
So you can eat the purple part?
You can. I'm going to put the leaves. I'm not going to put the stem in because the stem's pretty tough, but I'm going to put the leaves, and I'm going to put some of these seed heads. But there's a lot of this wild stuff going on.
And this is wild.
It's amaranth. Yeah, I didn't plant it. Well, you can buy amaranth seed and you can plant it in your garden, but this is a wild carrot, also known as Queen Anne's lace. So we're going to put a little bit of it in for seasoning. It'll add to the flavor. This is yellow dock, which is also wild. We'll put, I don't put a huge amount of this in because it's high in oxalic acid, and it can be like kind of make it a really strong taste. So I don't typically put a lot of that in there, but I do. That's a yellow root, and it is nutritious. But this is morning glory right here, and makes a beautiful flower. But it's kind of almost an invasive weed. But I'm going to put a few leaves, morning glory leaves, in. They claim that the seeds, like it's going to seed over here, climbing up the tomato cages. They say that the seeds will make you high. I've never tried it. I've never tried to get high, but that's what I've been told. This is kale, which this came up on its own. I didn't plant it, so it sprouted and germinated faster than the others that was planted later. See how that stem is?
Yeah.
It froze and then it burst right there. So frost did that to the poor kale. So I'll put this in here. Now, this is called purslane over here. And purslane, it is the leaves are like, well, it's actually not really like leaves. It's kind of like if you had like cactus pads. It's kind of the same type of texture, just on a more miniature scale. Purslane, it's you can eat it raw. Tastes a little bit like spinach. What do you think of the taste of the purslane?
It's good.
Yeah. It grows very abundantly here in the garden.
It don't really.
I didn't plant it. It's wild.
Doesn't really have a taste. It just sort of this, everything kind of has, everything green sort of has kind of a natural
Now,
taste.
in order for the kale to grow really well, it needs air in the soil. So with this kale, I dug up around it, and so I try to aerate the soil. So I try, if I can, I try not to step close to the plants because I don't want to push the air out of the soil, and so the plant will thrive better. So I'll just try to not pack the earth down around that particular kale. That's some more kale that was volunteer. I have beets than the beets. But the morning glory should, there's some morning glory flower there. The morning glory should actually kind of get killed back by this frost, but the beets, you can see there's one right there. But there's So beautiful, purple. It's high in oxalic acid, so in my opinion, it's better to eat high volumes of kale greens or turnip greens than high volume of raw beet greens. So oxalic acid is not necessarily like a... Anyway, research it, oxalic acid. This yellow dog is very high in oxalic acid as well. So if you would boil this and change out the water, then you would get rid of that oxalic acid, so it would be more digestible and more palatable if you would do it that way.
Got you. Yeah, that last one I just ate, it has a more plant flavor to it.
Mm-hmm. You can see, look at that. That's a beauty. Right there, I'm going to let it grow. But see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's looking good.
Now, did that one just pop back up on its own?
Yeah, that was a volunteer. I harvested some pumpkins. If you search on YouTube, pumpkins, Titus Morris, will probably come up, but it's a bit of educational videos on that. These are called, I forget the variety. Get stuffed. Yeah,
Get stuffed.
yeah. And I do not like these.
I think I've heard you say that, yeah.
Like they're tough and they just don't. They're really acidic, and I mean they're okay for like a canning tomato, but to eat fresh, I just don't really like them very well. And they're better than no tomatoes at all, but.
I've never had it. Can I try this?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So the Get Stuffed tomato.
Which I mean, if
looks good.
If a person was canning tomatoes,
It doesn't look as appetizing as the pineapple.
Mm-hmm. If you're just canning tomatoes, I mean, and that's your plan, then it's okay.
It's still better than the ones I had last night.
Yep. So let's see. We got some wild onion growing. And
so
there's quite a bit of wild onion here.
How are you telling the difference between the wild onion and just the grass? Because
well, it's. I guess you just get an eye for it. It's kind of like finding arrowheads. You just get an eye for it. But these are round, and the grass is has blades.
Okay, look at that. Yeah, it does look like a green onion.
Yeah, and and then when you pick them, it has a distinct smell. A very distinct smell.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's got a lot of flavor.
Yeah, they're tasty. They really are. And, there's a huge abundance of these. I mean, I would never run out of wild onions. Like in spring and fall, there's always wild onions out there. Always. So, I mean, which we did have onions in the garden, but they didn't do very well. And, so I don't have actual onions in the garden, but plenty of these here. Just like the Lord provides in abundance.
Right.
It's out here. So here's dandelion, and I won't put a lot of dandelion in here. Dandelion's a little bit bitter, but dandelion's actually less bitter now that it's cooler weather. But it can be a little bit more bitter as time goes along. Okay, well, I think the only thing that we're... Oh, let's
Some stinging nettle.
Yeah, we should put some stinging nettle in there. Yep. And I might go. The onion is more or less just flavor. Somebody's gonna say, "Ew, you didn't wash that stuff. The dog man peed on it."
My wife is gonna be the first one.
And hey, if you guys want to do what I'm doing and you want to wash it, more power to you. It's gonna be sterilized, so if the cat peed on it or if the dog peed on it, really I don't care. Once it's boiled, it's sterilized.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, everything in nature has a way of cleaning itself. Anyway.
Well, what I tell my mom would be like, "Did you wash it?" I'd be like, "It is washed," and she'd be like, "Did you wash it?" And I was like, "No, the Lord washed it with the rain, and the sunshine kills bacteria, so it's washed with the sunshine and rain." She's changed over time. My mom used to be like mandating, "You wash it," and then now I think she's a little bit more. What's the word? We could go get some okra. Let's go get some okra. I just noticed it, and we'll go see what good morning, Spartacus. How are you doing, Spartacus? He's an old dog.
They've all got their little spot. They're all content.
Mm-hmm.
What is the other one's name? He loves this mound right here. I guess they all do, but he's usually always on it.
The black one? The one that looks like Annie that's bigger?
Yeah.
That's Chloe. Yeah, that's Chloe. She will bark and bark and bark and just go for hours. And Spartacus will bark for a little while and then he'll go to sleep. But she'll go all night. This is a no-kill.
Wow, I've never seen okra that size.
Well, see, these ones, I didn't pick them, so this one's going to go to seed. So I'll save this.
So it's too far along.
Yeah, like this is too big. And so see how that, I call it a nose. If you can bend the nose, you can eat it. But if the nose doesn't bend easily, then it's too tough. That's how I know. So like this one here is getting a little bit fibrous. But you see how the nose bends pretty well. But feel the difference between that nose and this one.
Right.
So there, yeah. So Spartacus, he's got a bad habit. Oh, that's the guy that tried to beat me up, Stephen Henson.
Really? He just waved.
Yeah, he was friendly today. Maybe with these fall colors, he's turning over a new leaf. But I mean, if you weren't here, he might have rolled down the window and started calling out threats. But
well, that'd be fine. When he leaves and goes on, we can pray for him.
yes, we should pray for him. He testified in court that he claimed that Stephanie and I offered him $25,000 to have her ex killed. And,
That's usually what the people that you hire for that do, huh? Start telling everybody.
There's another YouTuber called Aaron Atz. And so he's claiming that Aaron Atz offered him money to have Jeff Kane killed. But if there was an award that could be given to the biggest liar in Casey County, I think we'd go to him. And the Bible does say that liars have their part in the lake of fire. But there's going to be lots of ex-liars in heaven.
Right. It's never too late for any of us.
Yeah. So, you know, Stephen Henson may be in heaven, and, you know, I hope he's there.
So, Titus, is this normal size for this okra? Is this a specific type of okra that grows this large, or is this just too far grown is the reason it's this large?
Well, yeah, so I didn't pick it regularly, and so it's best to pick it like every other day. But this is called Clemson Spineless, and so that's a butternut squash, but it's
no good no more.
Yeah. But Clemson Spineless is really just, I like it. It's an heirloom variety, and there's other varieties that are almost like stinging nettles, like they'll kind of like burn you, but it doesn't have the same spines. This one over here is I don't know the specific name, but it's red, and it's a volunteer. But it won't. I feel like you get more production out of this variety. But yeah, stick it in your pocket. You've got some seeds now. There's enough seeds in there that you probably never run out of okra.
Really?
For you and your family. Okra grows like a weed. I like to see how cats and the dogs just kind of play together. One big family. Okay. Well, we got the okra. Okra is high in calcium. Very slimy if you eat it raw.
Yeah.
Very slimy if you eat it raw. There's comfrey over there, which the Indians call knit bone, and it can help bones heal up really quickly. Sometimes I put it in here, but
is that this leafy?
yeah. I'm not going to put any in this time, but sometimes I put it in. Comfrey. All right, let's see. I think the only thing that we're missing now is salt. We got some sweet potatoes over here, and we need to dig those today.
All right.
The frost, when the frost hits the vine, it like goes through the vines to the potato, and then the potato will be bitter, and then the potato will just rot quickly.
Oh.
So you have to cut the vines off, and then if we cut the vines off, we could wait and dig them another day, next week or the next week or whatever. But it's probably best if we just dig them together. So, this porch is very disorganized, but hopefully we'll get that organized one day. So let's see, we got some water here. And
I love how when you put it on there, it just starts cooking.
yeah, kind of like a crock pot. This stove, you can just turn it down. Pioneer Princess is not getting kickback. It's not giving us kickback for this, but it's there's different stoves out there, but this one's airtight, and so you can put wood in it, have a nice fire. You can leave. You can go to sleep, you can be gone. 24 hours later, you can give it air. This is where you turn it up. You can give it some air, and your fire will start up again. There's other stoves that, like on a winter night, if you don't put wood in, if you don't wake up during the night and put wood in it, in the morning your fire's out. It's dead, and you have to light a new fire. But typically, I'll start a fire in October, and then I'll never have to relight it until, like, it'll be the same fire until, like, maybe April, and then I'll let it go out.
Wow.
So it just saves a lot of time to have it airtight like that.
Now, have you used other
Yes.
besides Pioneer
Yeah,
Princess?
we used one called Pioneer Made, and Pioneer Made was not airtight.
Massive difference.
Yes. And you can also get wood cook stoves like this that have a loop in them, and so so the water goes in this loop and then it goes out, and so you don't have to have
It's like a hot water heater.
you don't have to have a pump because the water is just it circulates because of the heat differential, right. And so you can heat your water with your stove, and you don't have to have I don't have that system hooked up, but it's handy to have. But it's got an oven in it, and it's got a wood box that's pretty big, pretty good size box, and so when you're cooking it, it's usually, if you want to cook it fast, you want to put like smaller pieces of wood in. And if you want to cook it slower, you put bigger pieces in. So I don't need for it to be cooked really fast because it'll be probably 5 hours or so before. Oh, that's some hair. I should throw that out. Let the birds get the birds. I'll donate it to the bird building fund.
So how long will that wood right there last, you think? For the day?
Yeah. Well, if I turn it all the way on high, that would last only probably 3 hours, and then after 4 or 5 hours, it would actually go out. But if right now it's turned up, it'll burn hot, and then when I'm ready to turn it down, then if I'm regulating it and I'm turning it down at the appropriate time, then it'll definitely last all day long. But I guess I can go back here onto the very disorganized porch, and I'll just grab a little bit of wood here. So, like, if you wanted to cook something and you want it cooked fast, then you would split a lot of stuff. A lot of it you want to cook, this size is smaller, and then it'll burn, it'll boil it really quickly. But if you're wanting more like a crock pot cooking, then you're going to use your bigger. We got some black walnuts there, getting ready for winter.
I had some the other day. They were good.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're hard to get out, but they're sure delicious. Yep. I guess I'll get a little bit more wood over on this.
So, at some point, I would like for you to explain the outhouse
Okay, yeah.
design as far as what makes a healthy one and what doesn't.
Okay.
Because last time I was here, I used it before I left, and I was amazed because of two things. I've used a lot of, being a construction, I've used a lot of porta potties, and they have chemicals in them.
Yeah.
And still you have flies and stench. And when I used your outhouse, there was neither.
Well, this is sister's outhouse. So it's the women's outhouse, and it's a little bit nicer than the other one. So we got a 5-gallon bucket, and then we have sawdust. And
right,
the drier your sawdust is, the better. And so the Bible says basically when you take a dump, you need to dig a hole and bury it. So there's outhouses that you'll see, a lot of Amish outhouses. It's just a pit and it goes into the pit, and it's not sanitary because a fly goes down in there in the pit, comes back out of the pit, and then you're eating your tomato sandwich. You step outside for a minute, you come back, and then some of your fecal matter is on your tomato. And so when you use sawdust and you use enough sawdust, it kind of reduces a little bit of the odor. Like if you have lots of corn cobs, you can throw some corn cobs in there. That'll soak the urine up. That'll help reduce some of the smell. But you can use wood ashes. If you have plenty of wood ashes, you can use some of that in there, and it'll help to reduce the odor. Yeah, then once your 5-gallon bucket's full, then you take it and you dig a hole. If you have a fruit tree or blueberries, or you have some, something like that, you're not going to risk contamination by burying it, there. You definitely don't want to like bury it in your garden and then 2 weeks later plant your potatoes. You could contaminate your potatoes, so you don't want to do that. But you can bury it in one spot 1 year
for further composting.
Yeah, you can bury it there, and then if you want to wait a year, and then after that year use that as your garden spot, no problems. But you just want to be aware of where you're burying it.
Right.
So I'm not a believer in vaccinations, and so polio used to be a scourge in the United States. It was paralyzing little children, and it was a horrible thing. And so they developed a vaccine, and they claimed that the vaccine just wiped out polio. Well, polio was spread from fecal contamination. And so what was happening was people had an outhouse that was the water was getting into the groundwater. It was getting into the well. There was outhouses that were too close to the well, or in really, really rainy weather, there could be so much saturation in the soil that some of that water was contaminating the drinking water. And so I believe that after the flush toilets became standard or mandated, that is what actually stopped the polio scourge. I don't think that it was actually the vaccine that stopped polio.
Right.
That's my opinion. Not that I can necessarily prove that, but that's my opinion. So we want to teach people that, okay, you have some lumber, you build this, it's not going to cost you very much.
Right.
And you understand what to do. We just took some cedar and cut to make a handle there. And also, I always squat on here, always. Like, I never just sit down. I'll squat, and it'll help you to be able to push it all out.
Really?
What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Okay. So we want people to come here and learn how to do this, and then if the Lord calls them to go and be a missionary in Alaska or the jungle somewhere, they won't feel like, oh, before I go, I need to have money for a septic system.
Right.
And so, there was an Amish guy who went to jail because he wouldn't put in a septic system. CPS has taken children away because they didn't have a flush toilet.
Wow.
And if CPS decides that this is not acceptable, then it's not acceptable.
I think it works good.
But their CPS can be reasonable, and they can decide, oh yeah, that's great. It's sanitary. So.
It is sanitary. I'm here. There's no smell. A public bathroom is disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've used porta potties, and they're expensive and they stink.
Well, porta potties on their own in general are bad, but I'm just any restaurant, most restaurant bathrooms, gas station bathrooms, all of those, they're just terrible.
And then they have all those chemicals in the water
Yeah.
And then that goes into a septic system somewhere, and then that goes into our soil somewhere, and
Yeah.
it's horrible for the environment. And so, the way that there's a cycle in nature. You eat it, you poop it out, and it fertilizes. And so cities are non-sustainable because the farms are over here, 1,000 miles away, 2,000 miles away. The stuff is trucked to the city. The people eat it, they poop it out, and then the fertilizer never, the plant, like, it's like a bank account. If you're selling hay, and you sell the hay, you're selling topsoil, you're selling fertility. And if the manure doesn't come back to your land, then you're going to have to buy an outside input.
Makes sense.
And so that's why God designed, and it was his intention, that the majority of individuals would own their own land.
Right.
And would grow their own food. And then it's like more of a self-sustaining system that works.
It's needed almost.
It's not economical to ship stuff 1,000 miles, 2,000 away to the city, and then if you tried to ship the poop back to the fields, it's just not sustainable. And Nimrod, he founded Babel, and he wanted to make a city, and the Lord didn't like that, and he confounded their language, so they spread out. But cities are a non-sustainable thing, and it was never God's plan to have big, huge cities. It's just because it's non-sustainable. But you read in Jerusalem about the dung gate. So whatever people pooped out or whatever the animals pooped out on the streets, it went to the dung gate. And then the farmers could come and they could spread it back in their land, till it back in, fertilize it. Jesus told a story about how there was a fig tree and it wasn't bearing fruit, and the owner of the field said, just cut it down. And the husbandman said, no, let me dig around it and dung it. Let's put manure there. Let's dig that manure in. And there's people that are like, oh, I'm not going to use any manure in my garden because that's dirty. It's the cycle of life. And it's, I don't think that Adam and Eve were pooping something that could make somebody sick. But something changed after sin. In heaven, I don't think that we're going to be pooping out anything that would cause somebody to be sick. But because of sin, we have some bacteria that can be very harmful in the wrong place. But we don't have the word men here because only a man can piss against the wall. Women don't piss against the wall. So the King James Version says, him that pisseth against the wall. Well, that's kind of graphic. But other versions, modern versions, they say males. And so that's one reason why I like the King James Version, is it's very graphic. And it's very, it has more word pictures, and it's more word descriptive. And it's like you learn a whole new vocabulary. It's almost like learning a whole new language. And so some people don't like the King James Version, but personally, I feel that it expands our educational capacity to study that version. Yep. Well, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned about the outhouse so that people can see what we're doing here.
Well, I think it's working perfectly, and I do believe, like I said, you can tell how sanitary that it is.
Around here, a lot of people just have a wood pile, and it's just wet wood. And they burn probably twice as much wood in a season because it's wet. And they get less heat out of it because it's wet. But I like to, and I want to thank the volunteers who helped me build this. Before Peter came, I didn't have this, and I had that wood shed. And so it's a lot easier to have the wood here on the porch than it is to have to go back and forth all the time. All right. Well, Looks like we got a nice fire there. Looks like we'll be eating some goodies later on.
I can't wait. It's always good.
Nutritional goodies. Well, I'm glad you all could join us for a little bit of educational time. And, you know, we live in America. The America we live in, it's a generation of people who are fat, sick, and nearly dead. And it's because you're eating junk food all the time. And God didn't design you to be drinking cancer in a can of Coca-Cola and KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That stands for killing folks consistently. They put the little chickens in cages and they feed them antibiotics, and they hardly have room to move in that cage. And they genetically breed these to where they grow so fast that it's faster than their bones can develop. I've seen it with my own eyes.
And they produce more than one egg a day. They produce egg after egg after egg, and it basically fries the chicken on the inside.
They get fat, and they can't even walk.
Yeah.
They're in pain.
Yeah,
like
of
crippled.
course.
They're crippled, but they breed them that way. And then people pay for that, and they're supporting cruelty to animals, and then it's cruel to their own body because it's getting fat. And my grandma told me that when she was young, most girls didn't start their period until they were like 16 or 17 years old. But she said now, because of all the growth hormones that they're putting in the meat, girls are starting their period at like 9 years old, 10 years old.
10, 8, yeah.
You know, even 8 years old. And like, it's just not good. I mean,
No.
You know, and like if you're a dad and you're concerned about your daughter, you know, the way things happen nowadays, you don't want your daughter having a little baby at 10 years old, 9 years old. Feed her some healthy food.
Right.
You know, and then you lessen that chance of that happening at that age. You know, parents, take control of what your children eat. Don't just allow them to eat what they want. The child knows what the child wants, but the child does not know what the child needs.
That's
and
right.
You know, if you have junk food in your house, they're automatically going to pick the junk food. But if you don't have junk food in the house and you've got bananas on the table and tomatoes, and they might complain, "Oh, I'm tired of this or that." When they get hungry, they'll eat it.
That's right. And at some point, they're going to realize that it's the best thing for them. And personally, me, I couldn't wait to get back here and eat some of this good food.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the Cracker Barrel last night, so disappointed and so upset. I couldn't have a good meal.
Well, I like Cracker Barrel. I've been there a few times in my life, and you know, there's healthier options there than some places.
I had sliced tomatoes, turnip greens, a salad, and chicken fried steak, and I didn't like any of it. The salad tasted bad. Wasn't good.
Yeah. When I was there, I had some sweet potatoes. They were good. I had some potatoes. They were like baked potatoes. They were good. I think I had some salt. I liked it when I was there, but yeah, it's not just you eat it, you grow it, and if you grow it in your garden, you know, you're gonna be like, "Oh Lord, please send some rain. It's really dry." And like then the Lord sends the rain, and you're like, "Thank you, Lord, for the rain." And then when you eat that, like you're just grateful to the Lord because He made it grow.
Right.
But if you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're buying it at the store, you eat it and you're not really thinking anything about it. Just like, "Oh, I had to buy this. It's another bill," you know. So I feel like the gardening kind of like fosters more of a grateful heart, you know, and more of appreciation, you know. And if your children are helping to pick the tomatoes, or they're, you know, then sometimes they can appreciate it because like they worked hard to get that, you know.
Right.
But if it's just bought for them, they don't. There's not a concept of somebody had to work hard to make so I can eat, you know. So even if you don't have a big huge garden and you don't have a big huge farm, you can still do a garden and then
help your children to understand that somebody has to work hard. Somebody has to sweat in order for us to have something yummy to eat. And that we want our children to learn that somebody had to work hard, and we should appreciate whoever it was. We should appreciate that person that worked really hard and sweated, so now we have something yummy to eat.
Absolutely.
But if you're eating fast food all the time and you never go a gardening, it's hard for children to understand the concept of, oh, somebody worked really hard and sweated, so I have something yummy to eat.
Right. And that's not what you get with the commercially grown hydroponic.
Well, do you have any other questions or anything else you wanted to add before we bring this to a close?
I don't think so. We got plenty of stuff to go do.
Yeah. Yeah, we got rafters on the House of Prayer that we just put those up, but we got to put the purlins across. So. Oh, did I put stinging nettles in there?
No, we didn't get any stinging nettle. We need to get some stinging nettle.
Some stinging nettle, yeah. Yep.
If I can get that growing at my house, I'll have everybody in my family eating it.
Good. It's very high in folate.
I showed my wife and my mother a chart with all of the minerals and vitamins that come in stinging nettle.
Okay.
And it's really hard to believe how beneficial that it is.
So folate is something that pregnant women really need. Like, it's very important. And there's supplements that's like folic acid, and some women take folic acid, and folic acid is actually not good for you. And it can be harmful, but folate is the natural form.
Right.
And so very, very high. And if you're picking stinging nettles, you can use scissors and you can use gloves and stuff. I don't use gloves, but an Asian sickle like this is the best thing that you can use to harvest your.
What makes it the best? What's better about it than just snipping it or picking it? Or
Snipping it with snips just takes a long time.
Okay.
And this is it's easier.
And either option more beneficial for the plant.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to the plant. How hard is this stuff to grow?
Of all the things that I've grown, it's probably one of the
easiest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about controlling where it grows?
I planted this here. Let me think here. This summer will be 1 year planted here. So it's October now. So it's.
And it doesn't go away with the cold.
It's very frost hardy. So I'll probably be harvesting this into probably the end of December, and then it'll be pretty much killed out. But you can dry it and save it for the winter.
Really?
And then put it in your soup later.
Okay.
But you make green smoothies with it. For years they would tell you drink your milk and you'll get your calcium. Well, that milk was designed for baby cows, not baby humans or adult humans. And so some people can digest it better than others. But if you really want your calcium, you really want to have strong bones, eat stinging nettle. And there's women that are suffering from osteoporosis. They have babies, that takes calcium out of their bones. And women tend to have osteoporosis a lot more than men do. My grandma had osteoporosis. She started eating lots of kale, raw okra, lots of stuff, and the osteoporosis stopped. It just no more. No more issues with that. And then when she was like about 95 years old, or maybe I shouldn't say 95. It was probably more like when she was 90 or so. Then she started getting osteoporosis, and she just got more and more bent over, and I don't remember exactly how old she was when she died. I think it was 97. That was my grandma Grace. Yeah, it's so what you eat now is going to affect you 20 years later.
Right.
So if you don't want to be fat, sick, and nearly dead and have osteoporosis when you're 70 years old, then you need to start eating stinging nettles today.
Right.
Or kale today. And I've eaten kale out of Walmart, and it tastes horrible. But you eat it kale out of your garden, and it can taste sweet this time of year. And this was fertilized with human manure, human urine, for the most part here. Now I'm not just going to pee on it and then the next day use it, because I wouldn't do that to people. But it's, a month ago or whatever, there was a lot, so there's been a lot of urine on here, and urine contains trace elements, and it contains excellent fertilizer for your plants. And this is another area where you could use from your outhouse. You could dig a hole, you could bury it, and next to your stinging nettles, and then your stinging nettles are going to send roots over there, and it's going to fertilize it. So, and there shouldn't be a risk of contamination. Now, if you're selling your produce, there's kind of like a guideline, and probably, I don't know whether the guideline specifies that you can't use human manure, but I know that the guideline specifies just manure in general. If you're putting raw manure, tilling it in, or incorporating or spreading it on your soil, that it needs to be, when you apply the raw manure, there needs to be 90 days between that and when you are going to be planting your crop. And so if you're going to want to sell your produce, that's the guideline that's considered the sanitary guideline. So if you're going to use raw horse manure or raw manure of any kind,
right,
that would be the guideline. So I don't know specifically if there's a guideline that says you can't use human manure, but cities nowadays, some of them are composting. They have a composting program, and so a lot of your organic farms actually do get composted human manure.
right,
Which I don't really like that idea, because there's so many people who are taking pharmaceuticals, and then they're peeing that out, and then it's being composted, and then it's going to the organic farm.
right.
So that aspect of human manure, I think is a little bit risky. But if you have your own homestead or you have your own farm, then there's a safe way to do it.
Yeah, and you're talking about several people versus thousands of people all mixed together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot higher chance
Mm-hmm.
for something bad to happen.
Yes. Yeah. So there's just different factors to consider and to evaluate. And if somebody, some people are like, oh, I'll never do that. It's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. If you have a house like that and you want to just bury out in the woods, that's fine.
Right.
That you don't have to. But there's a guy named Wendell Berry, and I love reading what Wendell Berry has to say. But if any of you guys like to read, look up Wendell Berry, and he talks about human manure and sustainable farming and things like that. He's a great guy, kind of inspirational.
Well, if everything you're eating is pure, then how bad can the manure really be?
Yeah. Women need more iron than men. They're menstruating, they're having babies, they're all that, and so everybody should be eating stinging nettles, but especially the women. Maybe you're a young woman, maybe you're 16 years old, and you think, oh, I want to get married one day, I want to have children.
eat this today.
Right.
And then you have that in your body. You have lots of calcium in their body. And then a friend of mine, she had a lot of babies. She had like, I think 8. And she actually was losing teeth. And I guess it was just, it takes a lot of calcium out of a woman's body. So kind of like a bank account. Spend years of putting iron and folate and calcium into your bank account of your body. And then later, the baby may take a huge withdrawal, but if you have plenty in your bank account, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
So this stuff. So the way I'm doing it, I'm not going to spend the time to pick all the leaves. I'm just going to put the stems in there, and then people may chew the soup and they may spit out a little bit of the fiber from the stems. But if you're cooking it for your family, you probably want to just pick the leaves off and then just leave. Now the very tips of the stems are going to be okay, but the deeper the stem goes down, the more tough it's going to be. Yeah, I think Justice he might send a video to his wife chopping stuff. Apparently he doesn't do much of that at home. I don't know. Case isn't giving us kickback for this, but this is a case knife. I think it's got a double X on it. I like case knives. And my wife ordered this for me from Amazon. I think it was like $20. They're pretty reasonable.
Seems sharp.
There's one that you can buy on Amazon that's like $10, and it has a different angle on it, and it just doesn't work as good. There's like a different angle that you can get.
The curvature in it, in the blade? Or are you talking about the pitch to it?
Well, there's a different one that it looks like this, but you know how a golf club has an angle there?
Yeah.
The blade is more at an angle, and it doesn't work as well for me.
And this one
just has
on.
no angle, it's just straight on. But yeah, and you can get a thinner blade and a wider blade. I like so you can get one that's like thicker and a thinner. I like the thicker one. But if all you're doing is just getting stinging nettles with it, then the thinner one will work great. Well, I think that our soup might be
complete now. Did you add some salt?
boiling. Oh yeah, thank you. I had forgotten. Yeah.
You need this salt from out here?
No, I think I got some salt in here. I think. Yeah.
Let me grab this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, go ahead and grab it. So I don't measure stuff. I'm kind of my wife says I'm a dump cook. She likes to measure things out, but for this size, I usually do about 1.5. I guess that's a teaspoon. And thank you. And then we'll add the stinging nettles in here. So the beans need to cook and 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 cook. But the if I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, so the stinging nettle, if it's cooked more lightly, you get more nutrition out of them.
Gotcha.
So I tend to add it towards the end as opposed to the beginning.
Gotcha.
Just for the nutritional sake of it.
Keep from cooking so much of it out.
Yeah, it's best not to overcook it.
Now the beans, you can cook them and cook them and cook them, and you're not going to lose nutritional value by cooking and cooking and cooking. I did dig a few sweet potatoes the other day, and I might just throw them in here because these will not actually be sweet because their sugars have not developed.
Okay.
They need to have a curing period where their sugars develop, and usually takes between 2 weeks to a month for them to. You can see we had a drought, and normally we'll get like 2 or 3 pounds per plant, but this is like 1 plant. So it was disappointing. So we're gonna dig some potatoes later today, and we may have better yield with some of the other plants. But
so then, does this creek basically dry up if it's not continuously raining as normal?
I've been here since 2015 on this farm, and I have never seen it this dry. So I've had other times where the creek stopped flowing, but then it was only for a month or only for a few weeks, and then after that it started flowing again. But it hasn't really flowed now for, I think it stopped flowing in June. Maybe it was the first part of July it stopped flowing, but there's like a trickle. Did you jump in the creek? Did you take a bath in the creek when you were
I
here?
just walked it.
Just walked it.
Yeah. Walked it barefoot. I was amazed with the flat rock. It goes all the way. I didn't really see anywhere there wasn't a rock bottom. Yeah.
I think that Aaron Atz flew a drone over here, and I don't know for sure if it was Aaron Atz, but Aaron Atz, if you're watching this video, I will, if you do it again, like any chance I get, I'll shoot that drone out of the sky if I can. I will not tolerate, I have volunteers here who take a bath in the creek during daylight hours because it's warmer then, and my creek is secluded. There's times when my wife takes a bath in the creek, there's times when I take a bath in the creek, and I just won't tolerate it. And that's an invasion of my privacy. So just for those of you out there that have been antagonizing me with the drone, it's going to stop. I tried to shoot the drone out of the sky the last time that it came down, but I wasn't able to because I'm not a sharpshooter. But I'll try.
I'm a pretty good shot.
Well, Justice, if one shows up, yeah, we'll try to be ready for it. I mean, it was coming down close, like close to the porch here, and like hovering, and like, that's enough. I don't know whether it was Aaron Atz or if it was someone else under with his direction, but yeah. But I did see a comment on YouTube where somebody said, "Hey, why don't you get a drone and fly it around Titus's and give us an update of what's going on over there?" And you know,
There come a drone.
yeah. So I assume it was Aaron Atz, but
well, time will show people, and all of that stuff. I mean, they could be, they could be creating other content, and I think that personally it'll grow old and move on. And
yeah, and if Aaron would send me a message and say, "Hey, I'd like to fly a drone over your place," if I knew the time of day that
right.
I was going to do that, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah, it's about privacy for when we need privacy. When you need privacy, when your wife needs privacy.
And you know, I don't have a problem with law enforcement coming here and saying, "Hey, we would like to look in your house," or "We would like to look." You know, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
You know, it's not that I'm hiding stuff from people, but you know, I won't tolerate.
You've already opened up so much of your life
Right.
to the whole world.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you won't see a no trespassing sign out there.
Right.
You know, I want people to come here and visit.
Right.
You know, that's not an issue. But you know, and I would welcome law enforcement. And I'm not the type of person who say to the police officer or the sheriff, "Get out of here until you have a warrant." No. You know, they're welcome to come and conduct an investigation
or watch any of the videos. I mean, clearly, what do we don't shine the video. Don't aim the camera there, right? No, there is none of that.
Yeah. I mean, we've had CPS come here. You know, and we're not, you know, they come before, they can come again. Alrighty, well, I think we've got everything squared away there.
Yeah, I think the pot's ready now.
Well, Justice, I'm glad that you're. I want to do more videos, but I just don't. I don't always have the time or the energy to do it. And I want to do more educational videos than what I'm doing. So, since you're putting this on your channel, that's great. Yeah. But yeah, you guys are welcome to visit, and if I'm here, I'm here, and if I'm not, I'm not.
Alrighty. And I guess let's go get to work then.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go have some quiet time with the Lord first before I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna turn this on.